purchased under the recreational system legally, but you've removed it from that packaging, you don't have to keep that packaging with that stamp on there. That system is only to maintain the sale control, to make sure that only products that have had the tax paid can be sold. But possession is another issue entirely, and you do not need to hold on to that stamp in order to prove possession. When it comes between medical and just recreational, medical users are allowed to carry a month's supply or 150 grams, whatever is less. A recreational user, a non-medical user, would be able to hold 30 grams maximum. So there is a difference in terms of possession there, but any cannabis is legal and it doesn't have to only come from a producer. It's just the sales question. Only sales are legal through the recreational system. Sharing it is a great question. To the best of my knowledge that I've been able to research, giving up to 30 grams to each person, I could give up to 30 grams to each one of you, as long as I'm never in possession of more than, like if it came from my home actually, there's no possession limit at home. So I could have 100 kilos of cannabis at home. Why I would have that much is, yet to be determined, but that is perfectly legal. As soon as I walk off my property, I can have whatever is legal for maximum possession. If I have a medical ticket, then my month's supply, or 150 grams, whatever is less. If I don't have a medical ticket, it is simply 30 grams. But you are allowed to give up to 30 grams at one time per person. How many times a day or per week you can do that, I don't really know. Yeah, it hasn't been determined, but really you're not allowed to exchange monetary instruments because that would be considered sale. And so that is the prohibition. The prohibition is on sale. You cannot sell cannabis products. The question that I saw is, I go into town, I buy some cannabis from the store, I'm going to buy some for my neighbor and he's going to give me some money for that. That would be considered a monetary transaction. That sale, you can't do that. You can go to the store, buy some cannabis for your neighbor, and give it to him and or her, and they're maybe allowed to give you some of their tomatoes from the garden or different other things that they might give you. But yeah, this is how the law is becoming tricky. What level of enforcement there's going to be for these sorts of things is not really known. But really the policy is all about discouraging the black market, discouraging people from running a business that is not regulated, where the taxes aren't paid, the product hasn't been tested. Yes.
But if you've got a recreational canister and you've smoked it all,
yeah,
you can just get the black market stuff and keep refilling it.
Well, you don't need that. You don't need that packaging to make sure it's legal. It's not a question of the packaging.
They won't ask.
Yeah, the question. Yeah, cannabis is not illegal. You do not need the legal packaging that it came from to prove that it was legal. There's no prohibition on, they're trying to create in the media perhaps that there's a difference between illicit cannabis and licit cannabis. But that doesn't really exist. The only illicit cannabis is during the transaction. The transaction is illegal, but the product is not. So if you're caught in this transactive, event, you could be liable to fines. You could be liable to prison sentence, depending on the facts of the case and how it goes through. I'd like to change gears, unless there's any other pressing questions right now. Ray, last question.
With regard to the amount that you can possess, yeah, I know it's legal to make your own edibles and extracts. Have they set limits on, like, how many brownies you could have?
Yes, this is a great question as well. It's going to be very difficult for law enforcement to understand and enforce this part of the law. So in the law, there is a formula for determining how much extract equals 30 grams or how much extract equals 150 grams for medical, right? But if I have distillate, it's going to be a different number of grams that it came from if I had rosin or if I've got hash brownies. That if I have cannabis coconut oil and say I have 2 liters of it. Well, maybe only 10 grams of cannabis went into that. How is the cop to know whether I had 150 grams go into that coconut oil or not? I mean, that's the part of the law that's kind of murky, and it's going to be tough for law enforcement to prove that you actually had that much extract, right? You know, and there is a big difference between the types of extract and their concentrations. We're going to get into how we can make extracts at home with heat and pressure. We're going to talk about the other forms of doing extracting, you know, doing tinctures and different stuff. What is legal for extract and what is not.